Hi there, welcome to Crochet Rocks. My name is Tracy, and in this video I'm going to start with the very basics of crochet from an absolute beginner perspective. So at the end of this you will be able to get started with your crochet. So this is DK weight yarn, double knitting, or in the US it's a 3 weight. So there are different terms for things, and I aim to tell you those as well. I'm going to use a 4mm crochet hook, and I'm going to use DK weight yarn, but I'm going to use this turquoise colour because it's going to show up really well against my hook, so you should see exactly what you need to do. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to make a slip knot. Okay, so if you grab your yarn and you make a loop, then you bring the yarn behind it and pull it through that loop, you can make a slip knot. You can rewind this video if you need to, but we'll do it one more time. Make a loop, bring the yarn behind and through that loop, and you can make a slip knot. You can then pull it tighter around your hook. You don't want it to be really tight, but you want a little bit looseness just so that you can work. Okay, so the way I hold my crochet hook is like a pen, and this way makes a lot less movements to get achy in the future. And then I just hold on to my tail, and what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over and pull that loop, that yarn through that loop. That's called a chain. So we're going to yarn over and pull it through. Yarn over and pull it through. And that's how we make a chain to start our work. And as you get more advanced, you'll know that with different patterns, you get different amounts of chain. They call that a multiple of 3, a multiple of 4. And sometimes there's a multiple and a few extra. So we're just going to chain a few so that we can start showing you some stitches. We'll do a couple more. Okay, so if you have to pause it to get your chain together, it doesn't matter how many you do, because we're just going to work with very basic stitches. I will do some more videos, but for this one we're going to go into our second chain from the hook. This is a loop, it's not a chain. There's our first, there's the second one. I'm going to pop that hook through that stitch, just through that top bit. I'm going to yarn over and pull a loop through, and I'm going to yarn over again and pull through both of those. And then I'm going to go in the next chain along. See, this is the one we've worked. You can see that coming out. I'm going to go in the next one along, and I'm going to do the same thing with a yarn over and pull it through, yarn over and pull through both of those. And we're going to do that in every single one all the way along. Okay? All the way along. I'm going to hold on to this with my finger and just make my stitches. Now in the UK this is called a double crochet, but Americans and people who work with American terms call it a single crochet. That can be confusing, but as long as you know the pattern that you're following or the tutorial you're following is either in UK terms or US terms, then you should be able to apply it to each of them. Now, I know I'm going too fast, but I want to get to the end. So this is a UK double crochet, single crochet in the US. Okay, so I'm almost at the end. By all means pause it and catch up, but I'm going to show you how we turn our work. Okay, so we turn it now, And I do things slightly different to some. I don't bother doing a chain. Some people will do this turning chain, but not me. I will just put my hook into that stitch, pull up a loop. I've got my 2. I'll yarn over and pull through both of them. And there you are. You've got your stitch there. It can get a little tight, so don't do it too tight. Make sure it's loose enough. And then we just do the same thing all the way to the other end. Just the same as we have been all this time. If you feel more comfortable putting a chain at that end, then please do. But if you do, sometimes you can actually end up putting a stitch into it, and then your work will start doing this. So I find it easier not to. And you can see the top of the stitches are like little V's, and that one is exactly the same. So we just carry on going all the way to the end. I'm going to pause this video then, and I'll catch up with you once we get all the way to the end. Now, if your work is curling like this, don't be disheartened. It's not you. This stitch does do that, okay, for a little while. So there's my last stitch. I'm going to go in, make sure I go into my 2 loops and make my very last stitch and turn. Now we can go back and do exactly the same thing, and at the end you've got those 2 loops to go into exactly the same, and there's no turning chain there to get confusing. Okay, so that's how we do a UK double crochet. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about tension, because if you're just starting out, then the chances are you're not really holding it as tightly as you should, and this yarn is all over the place. So how I hold mine is like this. Some people hold it like that. I can't work that way. I have tried, but it just doesn't work well for me. My mum taught me this way, and it's the way that I do it. And then in this hand, I just put my yarn through my ring finger and my middle finger like that, and I kind of hold it loosely. So if I want it tighter, I can pull that, or I can just pull on this. So this controls my tension. Now some people, they wind it round their little finger, and then they wind it round another finger. I don't know how that moves. I cannot imagine how that moves freely. But for me, I just rest them between. That's how I was taught, and I can carry on doing my stitches all the way to the end. So this, as I said before, is a UK double crochet or a US single crochet. So all you need to do is make sure when you follow anyone on YouTube, you know what, you can always see the stitch they're making, because sometimes we have the same names for stitches, but they are different stitches, which is confusing. I split my yarn there, so that happens sometimes. Okay, so yeah, it's unfortunate, but that is how it is. We call this a double crochet, and Americans call our treble a double crochet. But I will always say in my tutorials at the beginning which stitches I'm using. So yeah, we just go to all the way to the end, which we are nearly there. Okay, and you can see we're now at the last stitch. There's the 2 loops, the same as all the others. Just go in, make your last stitch, and because there's no turning chain, you can see that is the very last stitch there. No confusion. So I hope that all you need to do now, really, as I should say, is practice that and make a bigger swatch. And I hope that was nice and straightforward for you. On the next video, which I aim them all to be around 10 minutes, I will take you through the next stitches, and we'll get there at a slower rate, but it's better that way. You get a little bit of practice at each one. So if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you can like, share and hype this video, it really does help my channel. And I will make a playlist called Back to Basics, where you'll find all of these videos. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.